This too.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spilling the Reality with Trisha and Kiley as we walk through all of the latest updates on everything going on Big Brother, the live feeds. We had an episode last night, so if you're watching with us live, be sure to join us in the chat, um, and we will touch on your topics. If we don't get to the chat while we're talking, because we have quite a bit to go over today about who's going home, the house is shaking up. We will have a segment at the end of the show where we look through the chat and get to your questions. All right, Kylie. So we had an episode last night, and it was the Veto BB Comics. Let's talk about it.
All right. You're really, really, really delayed
Great.
for me.
Great.
Are you for everybody else?
Probably.
So that's okay. We can work with that. But if you stop talking and there's a big delay, that's why. So, anyways, yep, BB Comics last night. We knew that this was coming, obviously, and let's talk about their strategies a little bit. So we get to see who go first. Who went first in the competition?
I have no idea because, to be completely transparent with the chat, I did not watch the episode. So,
Okay. And we were getting ready because last night was our premiere episode of doing the Amazing Race recap, and so we were a little bit rushed for time. So I watched the episode, but I didn't pay super close attention. But, anyways, I feel like
all I know is Nicole got this done like super quick.
yeah, I mean, she finished it in 11. Cody was first. Thanks, Ed. And Cody's strategy, I like that. He laid them all out like the two options next to each other, and he found the differences between them. And then he flew across and was like, okay, there it is. That's what it is. And I thought that was a good strategy. I couldn't remember if it was Cody or Memphis that did it. So anyways, that was Cody's strategy, and I like that. I think that was really smart. And
might have been a little
somehow,
time
though,
consuming.
well, I mean, I guess if you're going up there blind trying to figure it out, that, you know, I like the idea of knowing what you're looking for and being like, okay, there's 5 Davids in this one and 6 Davids in this one. How many Davids should there be? And only having to find it from there. So I kind of like that strategy. It almost came through for him, but obviously Nicole freaking killed it. On the feeds yesterday, Memphis does talk about how he was laying in bed the other night and he realized that it only took Nicole like 40 seconds a comic, that's what her time averaged out to. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's super fast.
I mean, she absolutely killed this.
So what were the comics that we didn't see? Like, what was Nicole's comic?
Okay, so Nicole's comic was, let's just play the clip. We got a clip.
Let's roll the footage. Roll the footage.
Roll it.
You know, like someone's got to be the bombshell, someone's got to be the pretty one, and apparently that's Janelle.
So Nicole was not the bombshell, but she got to be the serial killer, and her comic is her dressed up in the sloppy cereal box. And so I do love that production may, have let a few things go in Nicole's favor, but they brought it for her in her comic. So I thought that was kind of funny. Janelle's looked beautiful.
Yes.
Obviously.
Okay, but can we talk about Davon's comic for a second?
Daydreaming?
Yeah, daydreaming, but why did they put all these expression lines on her face?
Yeah, I know. It made her face look really old. I don't exactly understand that, but
confused. So all of the comics that were released were posted on our Instagram and Twitters. So go follow us so that you can see them. But yeah, Davon's was a little wacky. But yeah, okay. Anything else about the episode?
Let's see what else. Who else's comics were notable? If you didn't see Tyler's,
I did see it on Twitter.
That is terrible too. Abra Curl-Dabra.
And his hair was like this big.
It looked like he stuck his finger in a light socket. So that wasn't very flattering either. So, maybe that's what you get when you try to quit the game. So,
That's what it should have been. Like,
yeah.
Tyler the Quitter.
Yeah. We should have done something. Let us come up with the comics.
Yeah.
We would just turn this into another Zingbot episode.
Or James, he had some really good. He was posting some good tweets too about what their comics should have been. So go follow James. So in regards to that clip, we could go ahead and do the tweet of the day.
Right. The tweet of the day is related to this clip of Nicole being jealous of Janelle. And Janelle replied to Big Brother's Twitter post and said, "Sorry, Nicole, my star shines bright. Stay bothered."
With a kissy face.
That's right. But
sorry, not sorry.
Nicole is a really cute girl, but Janelle is a bombshell. There's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. And can we just talk about we've talked about this before, how Nicole looks like she's aged tremendously since being on her season. And if anyone had the expression lines, it should have been Nicole. Because her expression lines actually exist. Davon has like flawless skin.
Right.
So I'm just very confused. What are y'all doing, CBS? Like, what was this artist doing with those expression lines? Anyways.
Yeah.
Anything else from the episode?
That's pretty much the episode,
Chat, y'all got anything?
Anything else that we're missing? Like I said, neither one of us paid super close attention just because, a lot of life is happening right now.
But there is a recap. Cameron does a recap episode. So if you're like super interested in just episode recaps, you can check that out on the channel. Okay.
Yeah, Nicole wins Veto, doesn't use it. Brings us to present day. We've still got Memphis and Christmas on the block. Tonight's eviction night. I'm gonna break up this little showmance blooming.
Oh, the showmance. So we also saw, I didn't get to come on yesterday, so I know I said this on the Amazing Race episode last night because I was feeling better by last night. So when we did our Amazing Race show the other night, the first one of the cast preview, I wasn't feeling well on that. And then as the night went on, I felt worse and I did not get much sleep. And so during the day, I did not feel good at all. And so thanks, Kiley, for doing the show by yourself. It was awesome. I did watch.
After some minor technical difficulties.
Yeah, some minor technical difficulties, but we always have those. So it wouldn't be a show if everything just went right. But we talked about the Memphis and Christmas showmance and how there's like these code words, it seems. So we talked about like a laundry maybe being a code word and
their business, apparently.
Their business and baseball. So, like, they were talking about baseball, and this is on my Twitter, the quotes, but they talk about baseball, and they're talking about how it would be such a grand slam, like, if they could play baseball or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
Home run!
Yeah.
Home run.
Yeah. Memphis was like, I'd hit it out of the park or something like
that.
Yeah, you would. It was just,
y'all,
these conversations. So I definitely think there's some there's something going on there. So yeah, the showmans is looking after each other. And so we get some conversations yesterday where Memphis and Christmas are talking, and Christmas is talking to the cam before she engages in conversation with Memphis. And she's like, it's important that Memphis knows Christmas's gameplay so that whenever he goes to the jury house, he can counter any arguments that the jury has about Christmas. And so she's like, I'm going to talk to him later about this.
Yeah, so they've got this little strategy of, hey, whichever one of us goes to the jury, obviously the other one's going to make final two, so you need to be telling them like my gameplay and how I was so involved with everything, and that's why I should win. And so
Yeah, and oh gosh, we
I
all
mean, I kind of like this strategy of having someone that you're close to going to bat, to use a baseball term, for you in the jury house.
Yeah,
So
this is a good strategy. If you're on the block with your, your ally, this is
yeah,
a good
you're number
strategy.
one.
They say that they're gonna do it, they're like, Christmas is Cam talking, she's like, whoever goes to the jury. So if she were to go, she, will
Mhm.
back up Memphis. But we also see these conversations about the jury house. And I had to cut in and out of your episode yesterday, so I don't know if you mentioned this, but whoever goes to the jury house is going to wreck shop.
Yeah, they talked. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, so they're just going to
They're
be
both
assholes to the
they're
jury.
both gonna wreck shop in whatever house they're in.
Yes.
So whichever one's in the jury house, they're gonna cause havoc, and whoever's in the regular house is gonna cause havoc. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that those people are gonna be really excited to see either one of them. Like for the house's sanity, I'm glad that they're getting rid of one of them.
I
But
feel like Christmas would definitely do this, but I don't feel like Memphis would. Like, I don't feel like he's going to go to the jury and just be like, I'm going to shit on y'all. Like, what is that going to do for
yeah.
him, you know?
Right. I think he's going to get there. He's going to have him some adult beverages and hit the hay.
Yeah, he's just going to it's a vacation for him.
Right. Exactly.
So later in the day, we do see Memphis and Christmas have a conversation about this and about the jury and the plans. And so Memphis asks Christmas that if he leaves, is there anything she'd want him to tell the jury about her game? So he kind of opens this up for her.
Yeah.
And he's like, I will help you win. Like, if you tell me what you want me to say, and I'll tell them. He's like, the jury doesn't really have enough time to decide how to vote based on the
Yeah.
few
Like,
questions they get asked on finale night. So,
and he is right about this. And I think that that's one big reason why Tyler lost to Casey, because he had, like 3 minutes to sum up a pretty complex game, and he didn't do a good enough job of it. And so I feel like, I wish that they kind of had an unlimited amount of time and they just showed us, the key pieces of it.
Right, but, like, the
A
jury
la
got to see.
Survivor.
Yeah,
Right, exactly. And that they had a full time, 3 or 4 hours to dissect their games or however long it takes.
yeah,
You're breaking down 90 days worth of gameplay into 5 or 10 minutes.
yeah,
Like,
and if
okay, tell
you
me why you should win $500,000.
right.
10987, you don't win.
Yeah, 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, um, and so speaking of finale night, Christmas really feels good about her game.
Yeah. Homegirl's feeling herself.
She's feeling herself. She, is talking by herself as usual, and she says, she's like, I've not ever been on anyone's radar, and I've been on the block 3 times and not a single vote has been cast against me. Like, I am so good at this game.
I'm so good at this game. She's so annoying. I want them to evict her because I'm tired of seeing her.
Well, I mean, it might happen, so can't wait to talk about that. So talking about blindsiding, so all season we have seen, you know, every time before the eviction, they at some point tell the person that's going home, hey, it's you. And this is a jury management tactic. They don't want this person to be bitter towards them. So they always tell them, ahead of time, sorry, it's going to be you. We
Right.
couldn't get the votes. That's happened every single vote this season. But with Memphis and Christmas being on the block and Memphis being the target as of early yesterday, they've had a lot of conversation about, will we tell Memphis or will we blindside him?
And originally they were like, we're going to blindside him. We don't want him to know who to be mad at, and it'll just be for the best. Let's not tell him. And then Enza's like, maybe we should tell him, but let's tell him like 10 minutes before. So as the live show's starting, let's tell him that we're evicting him.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be worse. I hope that they do, because I think he'll go off.
Yeah, I I hope they either do that or not tell him at all.
Right.
So,
which are the two options? One of those is definitely going to happen.
No, but they could tell him today, like early today.
Right.
I'm just saying, like,
I
tell
don't
him
want
right
them to tell him
before.
right.
Yeah. So I'm saying tell him right before or don't tell him so that it's entertaining.
I feel like if they tell him right before, we're likely to see a very emotional Memphis giving his speech. And you never know, sometimes cooler heads prevail. And if he had time to think on it, he may not do something rash. But without time to think about it, he's probably just going to show some emotion. So.
Yeah. And Cody's kind of frustrated with Enzo because he's like, I don't know that we like even have the option to, like Memphis may already know because Enzo, you told Christmas that she's not the bigger threat, so she's going to stay this week. And so Memphis may already know he's going, which he definitely doesn't, y'all. He feels confident still that he's staying. Yeah. So there's a little bit of Cody just like, you already did that. Enzo's like, I didn't tell her that, and he's like, you definitely did.
Pretty certain you did.
Yeah.
100%.
So before we get into there was a lot of talk and a lot of excitement yesterday with who's going home. That's still back and forth as of last night. So before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about Nicole and Christmas and their final two.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll keep going. So Christmas and Nicole have kind of. Is this one from yesterday? Maybe. I think it is because I was like, we already talked about this yesterday. All right, moving on. Kylie butchered the banners. We can't go a whole show without having some sort of problem. All right, just keeping you on your toes. Okay, so anyways, who's played the best game? Christmas and Memphis, they are talking about how the jury might see Nicole. And Memphis thinks that if Nicole makes it to the end, she has a better chance at winning the season because it's an all-star season. There's a bunch of, it's not a bunch of newbies. And so he's like, she might actually win. And Christmas is like, well, Nicole had the committee keeping her safe, where Christmas and Memphis had to win to keep their alliance safe. What do you think about this statement?
Okay, Christmas. Like, really? Okay. You won an HOH by default. You won the power of veto because it was thrown to you. You did outright win a veto competition in the triple eviction. That is the one move that you can completely control for yourself. So you've not really done anything. So what? They have kept you safe just as much as you have kept them safe. You've all won. And y'all, I screenshot this. Let me find this little picture. Somebody was talking about how. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna read y'all some numbers. They're talking about like 3 of the most dominant alliances that we've ever seen in the Big Brother house: the Brigade, Level 6, and the Committee. And just talking about the level of dominance, y'all. HOH wins. The Committee has won 91.6% of the HOHs this season. They have won 75% of the vetoes. They've only been nominated 23% of the time, most of that coming in these last couple weeks. And they've only had 13% of the votes cast against them. And like these numbers compared to everybody else's, like Level 6, when I think of Level 6, I think about them dominating like the whole season.
Yeah.
But they only won 57% of the HOHs and 57% of the vetoes. So, I mean, the committee's dominance of this game, anybody that is in the committee is going to have the same argument because they were all protected by each other. The only one that it's kind of impressive from is Enzo because he wasn't a part of the committee. And yet he's never seen the block.
Yeah. That is definitely something he has going for him. But you know what Christmas thinks about Enzo? That he is a floater and he hasn't won anything after week 3. But Memphis says, well, he hasn't even been on the blog, and no one has
Right.
seen him as a target. And Christmas is like, well, that's just because he had good relationships with everyone. That doesn't make him a better player.
Christmas. Guess
Having
what?
good relationships with everyone is being a good player.
Right. This is a social game. It's not a competition based game. You can be Dr. Will and not win any competitions and be the best Big Brother player in history. So she does not understand that. She only has the mindset of a competitor, and she does not see the big picture that you don't even have to win competitions to be a good Big Brother player.
Christmas, Raven Walton, Puppet Master. That is absolutely. It would be really fun to see them on a show together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Delusional.
Cody and Enzo are having a conversation, and Cody tells Enzo that if Christmas is sitting next to Nicole in the final two, that Nicole will blow her out of the water. And Cody thinks that Christmas, thinking that means Memphis has been drilling that into her head, thinking that, Christmas will beat her.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think this is 100% right. I don't see, as of the game moves right now, I don't see how Christmas beats anybody.
no, absolutely not. She definitely thinks she's going to beat everybody, but she's not.
Yeah.
There's not. I don't see there being one person left in the house that Christmas
Unless
beats.
she is the one that is able to get rid of Cody, like
Right.
that. But as of now, with looking at their gameplay, Christmas can't win.
Yeah. So not just talking about who could win, but who is the most threatening, and they have some AFP talk.
Yeah. So, excuse me, y'all. Christmas back cam talking, and she talks about how all these conversations with Memphis have really helped her iron out some things, and she can now see that Cody's not as big of a threat as she thought he was.
This girl. So let's get this straight. So she thinks that Enzo hasn't played a good game because he has
Not won competitions.
He has not won competitions. And Cody is not as big of a threat as she originally thought.
So, who is the threat? Christmas? You? You're the only threat?
She's the only threat. I would love to hear her final two speech. Like,
Yeah,
it would be
I mean, maybe I do want her to make it to the end.
delusional.
Like, at this point in time, whatever's going to be most entertaining. I don't care who wins. I don't like any of them.
Yeah. So then Enzo is wondering how things would have went if they voted out Nicole over Danny. And Cody thinks that David would be in the final five with them, Tyler and Memphis.
So it would have the whole game would be different. All the girls would be out, and it'd be a final five with guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that you could have ever had a final five with Memphis and David in there together.
No.
Because Memphis was relentless.
And I think it was a huge, huge mistake of his.
Yeah.
But that's for another episode. So then we see the house guests, and they're in the photo room, the one that had the purple with all the pictures all over it. And Nicole's not in there; she's in the DR. But everyone else, and they're talking about the past seasons of the show, and they start talking about who might win AFP. And they all agree that it will be Nicole, Anthony, or Janelle. And Enzo says, well, Nicole F might get it, and Cody's like, no.
No,
She's not getting it. Not
At least he knows. At least he
has
knows.
a read.
So
he has a read on it.
Assuming that we get to vote for AFP, because as we talked about the other day, we have not at this point gotten to vote for anything this season. Who do you think will be the top three?
I think it's going to be. I don't necessarily. This isn't my top three, but this is who I think it will be. I think it will be Davon, Janelle, and Tyler.
Agreed. 1,000%.
And for those of you who are voting for Tyler, I've posted this on my Twitter, got lots of flack, but I need to understand why.
Yeah.
Why are you voting for Tyler? Like, what did he do that wowed you so much? He won AFP last season. Can we give it to someone else? He didn't do anything this season. He was a piece of furniture.
No, not him. Davon, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Janelle, if you're like, I just can't vote for Davon.
If Davon was not in the jury house and Davon had gone home before Janelle, like if we had lost both of them pre-jury, then I think it would be great for everyone to vote for Janelle to stick it to Nicole F. It would be so funny.
Yes.
But
Janelle doesn't need the money and she doesn't care. Like, let's just give it to Davon, please.
Let's give it to Davon.
She gave us amazing DRs and was the only reason we were entertained with most of this season.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the back and forth. So there is still a lot of chatter about who is going home this week between Memphis and Christmas, and we thought it was solidified that Memphis would be going home this week, but things are changing.
Like back and forth, y'all. So Nicole starts us off and she says that Christmas still hasn't talked to Cody about the vote. And Enzo's like, oh, hey, that's not good because it makes her look like she's too comfortable. And Enzo and Nicole both say they don't care who goes home.
Yep. And
Whatever.
So then Enzo's kind of like talking to himself after this, and he's like, I want Christmas to go. He says he doesn't think that he told Christmas, that Cody wanted to keep her, and Cody's like, no, you definitely did. So there's that.
Yeah.
Are we really going to change up our plan and get rid of Christmas? Enzo says that Christmas said her slate with Nicole is clean, so that means she can team up with Nicole. And Enzo also says that if Memphis stays, then Nicole will definitely go after Memphis next. And Cody says Nicole will go after Christmas if Memphis goes this week. And he said he believes that 100%. That's Cody feels like Nicole is going to go after whichever of these two are left. She's not going to come after Cody and Enzo. So, but Enzo says he feels like Christmas and Nicole are closer than they think and that they need to be careful of that. So it might be smarter to get rid of Christmas this week.
Y'all, I think Enzo is right on this. I think if we have a final four with Nicole, Christmas, Cody, and Enzo, I think in the position of Cody as HOH, Nicole casting the sole vote between Christmas and Enzo, I do think we could see Nicole keep Christmas. I don't think Nicole will cut Cody at that point, but I think she could cut Enzo.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It would be smart of her to keep Christmas at this point. I mean, Christmas is not going to beat her. So,
Right.
Enzo tells Cody that he doesn't think Nicole takes Cody to final two. He says maybe she will take Christmas. Enzo says that with Memphis staying, Cody could be safer next week than he would be if Christmas stays. Enzo thinks Memphis would cut Nicole over Cody, but Christmas wouldn't. And so, Enzo's given this great pitch on why he thinks that Christmas should go this week. And he really wants to get Christmas out.
Yeah. He is just the best read he's had in the house all season. Absolutely. We've been saying it for days. Memphis, I don't think would cut Cody. Christmas, 100% is going to vote him out. 100%.
Yes.
So,
and Cody tells Enzo that Memphis let it slip earlier that he won his final four veto, so he needs to go. But it's not that that's a secret. So I don't know.
And I mean, what does winning a comp on season 10 have to do? You won the final HOH, Cody. Like,
right.
We need to cut you. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But okay.
And you did get a jury vote. Memphis didn't. Okay.
Really stupid point.
Give a different reason. That one doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Let it slip. He let it slip though.
Oh.
It was not known until that moment.
Hey, did y'all also know that Nicole Franzel won her whole damn season?
Did y'all know that? Or she let that slip too.
Yeah. Not the final four veto. Oh no. That's a threat right there.
So Enzo says that he knows Christmas cuts Cody over Nicole. And Enzo thinks Memphis rides with the three guys to the final three, so they should keep him. Cody
Yeah.
says, nope, I think that Memphis will cut me at Final Four. And Enzo says there's way more possibility of Cody staying if Memphis is the voter, but Christmas will definitely not keep Cody.
Yeah.
And they cannot agree. Like, they absolutely cannot agree. So Enzo and Cody do agree that they want Christmas out more than Memphis, but Cody says strategically Memphis is going is better. And Enzo says it's a bad matter no matter which one stays, so why not get rid of Christmas?
I mean, back and forth, y'all. Enzo
All
really
day.
pushing Christmas. Cody's really pushing
Memphis.
Memphis, and back and forth they go.
Yeah. So then Nicole comes into the room and Enzo tells her that they're going to split the votes and she has to decide who goes home. Cody says it'll be better TV if they do that, and then Nicole cuts Christmas live.
That
And
would be
Nicole,
amazing. I hope they do that.
and Nicole's like, "Are y'all wanting Christmas to go?" And Cody's like, "Well, maybe Christmas does need to go." And so Nicole's like, "Is Enzo influencing you?" That's what she, she's thinking to
Yeah.
herself. Enzo says that Christmas has almost won more recent comps than Memphis, so she's got to go.
She's more of a threat.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. So Cody says he still wants Memphis out, and he was just testing Nicole. Cody says that he hates the thought of Christmas cutting him, and he's just going to win HOH anyway. So there's that. That's the way to play.
It doesn't even matter.
So at this point, they're still on the fence, and so then they're like, if we're gonna do it, let's just blindside Memphis. It's safer that way. Memphis won't know who to be upset with, and Enzo says Memphis will be mad at everyone. Cody says, well, he has no problem blindsiding Memphis, so let's just blindside him.
Yeah, and Nicole chimes in with, it would be more fun? We should blindside Christmas. And Cody says that he's okay, we'll do it. Nicole's like, no, we better not. Let's just, let's not do that. And Cody asks if they did blindside her and vote out Christmas, would she cut one of them, being Cody or Enzo, at Final Four? And she's like, yes, I would. But they're all laughing and joking, and just they got their big brother lies in their hands, and just trying to decide who to drop.
Yeah. And at this point, Enzo and Nicole remind Cody that none of this even matters because Cody, you're not going to win because you have the OTEV curse. You won OTEV. You're not going to win this season. So sorry, Cody, your opinion doesn't really matter because you're not going to win anyway. So we shouldn't take your game into perspective. Yeah.
I think this is great because Enzo fully bought into this curse. I mean, once he found out about the OTEV curse, he was like, all right, this is great.
Then he's not, he's like, Cody isn't going to win. Like,
there we go.
Cody says if Christmas doesn't talk to him at all, they should vote her out. And Nicole's like, well, that's pretty risky. But Enzo and Cody say it really bothers him that she hasn't talked to Cody. And Nicole says, but that's proof that she's the worst player. Nicole says even Christmas's HOH was bad. And she goes on to say that Christmas had a good relationship with Davon and Bailey and still nominated them. And at this point, Christmas walks into the room. So they have to stop talking. These players know Christmas is a really bad player, but Christmas thinks she's a really great player. So this is quite entertaining, to be honest.
She's a mess.
A whole mess. And then Christmas enters the room, conversation breaks up. They're no longer talking game. Cody is talking to Nicole and he's like, look, you don't have to worry about Enzo flipping the vote. He's like, Enzo just likes to talk.
This is true.
He does. He says Enzo's just worried because if he doesn't win comps, he just wants to make sure he's making the right choice or would need a backup plan.
Yeah.
So, and then later in the night, Enzo's talking to Cody and he's like, I just want Christmas gone. She gets on my nerves. So,
I mean, I just feel like I'm feeling Enzo's energy in all of these conversations. I think he's spot on. I agree. I want Christmas to leave because she gets on my nerves too. So
Yeah.
come on, Enzo, figure it out. Figure out a way to, push your opinion.
Yeah. And he's really trying. He's really, really trying. So that was like at 11 o'clock last night. There was also some other conversations amidst all of this of everyone's loyalty. And Cody is talking to Enzo, and he lets Enzo know that if Christmas wins the next HOH and Cody wins the veto, that he's going to send Nicole home over Enzo.
So
Now, he's telling this to Enzo, so take it with a
right.
grain of salt. I don't know that he would actually do that. I think he's just setting himself up that if Enzo were to win veto, he wants him to keep Cody.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I don't really know. I would love to see Cody have to make the choice.
Me too.
And find out where he really does lie with his loyalties.
Yes.
Do
Enzo
you
is
think if he gets into the final three with Nicole and Enzo, does he pull a Richard Hatch and drop out of the competition so that whichever one wins, picks him?
no.
I wouldn't do that either.
No. Cody is not that person. But I wouldn't do that either.
No.
Enzo does say that he's determined to win the HOH on Thursday and he's going to keep Cody safe. So Cody's in a really good spot. The only thing that's going to be super telling for us, like either way, I don't think Cody goes home this upcoming week unless he's on the block and Christmas is the voter.
Right.
That's the only way that he goes home this week. So they might just throw the comp to Christmas and go from there. It's
Let her do
risky.
it.
It's risky, but she can't vote.
Yeah.
So
We'll
Cody
see.
definitely needs to throw the comp.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to see an HOH comp tonight.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That'd be good. Hopefully we
I don't
also
feel
get to
like
see a blind side tonight.
yeah. Something good, please. Let something good happen.
J Job says Enzo's jury speech. Trisha and Kiley said you should vote for me.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Our opinion matters the mostest.
I don't know how good Enzo's speech is going to be, but like we said, we're going to have a whole episode on breaking down the final players' games and talking about what they need to do to win. Okay.
Way back, I really like this comment from Dawn. If they want to win, they need to do the explaining for themselves. I'm not voting for someone because their buddy said that they're great. So, talking about Memphis going to the jury and explaining Christmas's game, Christmas better be able to bring it in those final two chairs. I agree with that.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think Christmas could explain that she's played a really great game because in her head she has. I just don't know how good, even the jury hearing that, even if they're hearing Memphis say this, like, what could he even say? Like,
Right.
what could he even say about this girl?
Strategically? I mean, everybody knows that you've won a few competitions, but what strategically have you done?
Right. A whole mess. So,
J Jobs, I would like to know your equation to come up with this exact percentage. There's an 85.357% chance Cody wins BB22. I really like the math there.
yeah, I definitely think it's a high percentage. Agree. Yeah, we're hoping the HOH comp shows on the episode tonight so that we see who the final HOH of the season is.
Right. I mean, I don't want to have to wait till the West Coast airing for the feeds to come back up. Just let us see it play out and
yeah. What could the comp be for us to see it play out?
Questions, but
questions or like a ball rolling.
Yeah. Comp. I don't know. What do y'all think it's going to be? I mean, is there any chance we get an endurance comp?
this late in the game, like with
at
the
Final
switch factor.
4, and then they turn around and do another one at Final 3. I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening. J Job says it's a very complicated algorithm.
I can tell.
Aiden says pokes holes in this theory and says there's a 50% chance Cody wins. He either does or he doesn't.
Oh yes, Aiden.
Coming with
You're
the matter
correct
of
there.
fact.
Don't know what I was going to show.
Well, happening today is the episode comes on tonight, so be sure to check out the show after the episode comes on tonight, where we'll have a recap, hopefully, and then tomorrow we'll have our show, our regular show at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, and then we have special guests, the first boots of the Amazing Race, Cody and Nathan, will be joining us to talk about their journey on the Amazing Race at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. So we're super excited about that. So if you haven't been keeping up with Amazing Race, no worries. Only one episode has been shown so far. You can catch our recap down on the channel. It came on last night, so check that out. Anything else, Kylie?
You will be doing the show by yourself tomorrow at noon.
I will be doing the show by myself tomorrow. Kylie has prior commitments, so I'll be doing the show by myself tomorrow as payback for her having to do it by herself while I was sick. We planned this so well. So yeah, please join me tomorrow. Pretty much you guys will be my co-hosts, joining me in the chat. So please join me tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Don't leave me hanging. Don't forget to hit the subscribe so that you know when we go live. Drop us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and drop us a comment on everything that you are seeing on the feeds and your thoughts on today's episode. All right, guys. Well, be just and merciful. Can't wait to hear Julie's sign off tonight so I can do another one for another week. All right, guys. Bye, y'all. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.